All right, looks like these guys are about to start off. The elite men and then U23 behind them.
And they're off. Who's that into the front there? We got looks like some Canadians out front. We got Caleb Schwartz, third wheel. Fast start. Fast start.
Yeah, these guys are going up. Looks
We
like
got Robbie Day, fourth
Robbie
wheel.
Day coming
fourth
in.
wheel. Austin Beard, fifth wheel. So, looks like a fast start here coming into this big climb.
Oh, there's Landon. Yeah, it looks like these guys are in for a good race. Looks like we're gonna have our U23 men starting close behind them, and we got a little bit of rain out here, and course is running a little wet. We might get a little mud, but I think it should be mostly hero dirt.
Yeah, no, it's definitely looks like it's running well right now. For the junior races this morning, it was running super well. But yeah, some rain has come down since then. So yeah, we'll see how it's shaken out on the descent. If there's any muddy spots or anything, it could definitely make this race interesting.
Yeah, it looks like they are all pushing hard. It's stringing out pretty quick here as they roll up the start of this climb. It's gonna get real fast, real quick here with these guys. They're all quick and they're all gonna be pushing hard. All right, let's Ben, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Ben Brovman. I'm one of your commentators today.
Oh wait, looks like we have someone down already. Looks like a mechanical on the right side,
Shoot.
right back there. Just missed it.
And our U23
U23s are
men,
off.
yeah, U23 men just started. Toby Hassett.
Gabe Harrelson,
Looks like
Raleigh-Toe.
he's got Landon Dendy up the left side. Ralito Gutierrez, fourth wheel there. So that looks like some of our top contenders right up at the front there. Toby Hassett opting to race in the U23s here, while a lot of our other guys are deciding to race the elites, which is an interesting call. So more points available in the elite race, but in the U23 race, it's a less competitive field. So maybe some of these riders looking to take a win or a podium, whereas they would have a harder time in the elite race.
But I bet a bunch of these. I mean, we might have some people catching. The elites might get caught by those U23 guys pretty soon here. We've got some strong riders, and some of those in the elite might be falling off the back just a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think some of the top riders in the U23 field will definitely be running into some traffic at the back of the elite race. So.
All right, back to introductions. This is Ben Brovman to the right of me. You guys can't see us, but it's Ben Brovman here. We have River Valdez to the right of him. You'll say hi.
Hello.
I'm Oliver Welker, and we've got Flynn over here.
Hello.
What's your name?
Ryan.
All right, we got Flynn and Ryan who are also here helping out. And so, yeah, it should be a good time, and we're going to let you know how this race plays out.
So River race this morning was second in the junior men, and I was third in the junior men. So we had a good time out on this course today, and yeah, it looks like the elite men right now are just about most of the way up the climb. So it's looking fast out there, looking furious, and let's see who's at the front.
Yeah, look at these guys pushing it hard, rolling up here, and trying to figure out who our leaders are here in a second.
So I think that we're about to go into single track here. It looks like the double track road climb is about to end in a few minutes, maybe a minute here, and we'll go into single track. So this part of the climb, it's hard to see, but it really kicks up here to maybe 30-40% around some of these corners, and there can definitely be a yo-yo effect through these turns. So we got two Bear National Team riders in the top five. And so is that Robbie Day? It looks like Robbie Day, second wheel, looking to maybe go through to the front there. That could be Landon Stovall there, fourth wheel. it's looking like he is just getting over a broken elbow, which has had him out almost this entire season so far. So it's great to see him up at the front of the race here. And hometown hero Caleb Schwartz looks like he's just maybe going through to the front, sliding in second wheel. Now these guys are really ramping up the pace, so looks like this field's really stringing out, and we're gonna have a small group of 3 or 4 guys here at the top of this climb.
Well, it looks like we've got hail coming down again, much like in the junior men and women's race. I think we had a little bit in the elite women's as well, but we're getting some good weather here, and there's already some wetness on the ground, so I think it's gonna be, we might get a real nice mudder here today. Ben, you like the mudders, don't you, bud?
I love the mud for sure. I mean, racing cyclocross, I have a lot of experience in the mud, and I really like it. But I know a lot of people don't, so it could definitely make an interesting race if we get some more rain here and things slick up. But the dirt here, it's really silty, sandy, I would say. So I think it would need a lot of rain to really get slick. I mean, I think only a few corners would really get muddy. So I mean, I don't think that these guys will have any issues unless, you know, we have some freak weather coming here out of the blue. So
Well, I think all these guys have got quite a bit of experience as well,
For
and they
sure.
all, I mean, maybe some not as well as others, but they all can ride mud, and they can make it happen if they need to. So
oh,
we got a rider down.
is that Caleb Schwartz leading the pack? Does he go down there?
No,
It looks like-
Caleb, it was whoever was in the lead.
I think that was Caleb Schwartz. It looks like. It looks like he had some sort of issue, but he's back up on his bike going here. There's a short descent that these guys are going down right now before they'll and shake it up a bit. So it looks like we still have 3-4 guys at the front only. So still a pretty select group here, even with that small mistake from Caleb.
Looks like we only have 3. We got a little bit of a gap. Looks like, I think that's Landon who's trying to close back on the group of 3 on the front a little bit. But yeah, looks like we have about 7 riders who are just taking a commanding lead on the rest of the pack here as they go off. There's some gaps in between it, but they're all pretty close together as of now.
So it looks like Caleb is really throwing down the pace through this tighter section here. This last short descent, there's some really hard technical switchbacks, which you know, there's a big yo-yo effect there, so that'll definitely string out the race automatically. And through all these short, punchy, steep sections in the woods before this last road climb, this will definitely allow the field to break up just naturally more.
Saw a couple bobbles through some of these corners. It looks like it might actually be a little bit muddy up through here. It looks like everyone's struggling just a little bit to make it up and over some of those roots and stuff.
It looks like it. It looks like the dirt through here, I mean, you can kind of see that shine coming off the screen. So I think, I mean, that gives us a clue that maybe that this area is getting a little bit slick. Like right there in the center of the trail, you can really see it's looking a little bit slick with that more clay type of dirt. But after this, they're getting back into some more silty dirt. So, and it looks like this group is maybe coming back together. So back onto the road, Caleb Schwartz leading it out. And so now we got 2 bear riders and Austin Beard, 5th wheel, in rounding out this group. So
These guys are going to go really hard over the top of the climb to try and be in the single track first. It's not a super gnarly descent, but there's always a possibility someone could have a problem in front and hold up the rest of the group, making it, of course, harder to chase back on the climbs.
Looks like we just had a switch up on the lead there. Looks like we got a bear rider, I think, who has taken the lead. Caleb Schwartz dropping down to 3rd wheel. Looks like he's fighting pretty hard, but I mean, this is home course. He's comfortable. He knows what he's doing. So we'll see how this plays out. This group is coming right back together, though. These gaps are much smaller than we saw through that little climb/descent section. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
yeah, this top section of the climb, I would say it's flat enough that you're still getting somewhat of a draft. So maybe just no one wants to really take up the pace, and that's allowing for some more riders to get back into this front group. So it looks like we're getting to a group of around 8 riders now, or 7 riders here, and they're just rounding over the top of the climb here. So right up here it really flattens out and then descends down on the road for a second, and then these guys are going to bang a tight left-hand turn on the road before they come into the single track. So I think we'll see a hard sprint from these guys going into the single track to try to secure that position as far up in the group as possible, so to avoid some chaos in the first descent. So it's looking hot right now for sure.
Yeah, like we saw in the other races, it's really important for some of these guys, especially if you have don't want to be following anybody else. So it's super important to get on the front and ride your own pace down that downhill.
So this group is really breaking up.
Looks like we have a group of 4 who have broken off the front here a little bit. We got quite a gap down to this second group of 3. And these guys are definitely pushing, trying to get the first into that single track.
Okay, so these guys are now getting into the first section of the descent here. This section is pretty flowy, not as tight as that descent in sort of the middle of the climb, but we have one rider on the front now really driving the pace. And now that's, I believe, Caleb Schwartz, second wheel. And oh no, there's it looks like this group is really breaking up in the descent. I mean, coming into this descent with a lot of fatigue, it really makes it tricky. I mean, this usually isn't a descent that would give much trouble to any of these riders, but I think with the fatigue, just hitting that first climb almost all out, these guys might not be able to match the pace of this leader that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, once they come down through the line, we can give you some splits. And it looks like these group of 7 are really bringing this gap out quite a bit. It is really breaking up here quite early on in the race. I think they have 5 laps to do today, and so they've got quite a bit left to go, but these guys are wanting to make it hard super early.
And 5 laps for these guys might be looking like a shorter race, because the junior men today with 4 laps were their race was just over an hour. So I think we're looking at around an hour 10 to an hour 15 today.
Which is not very normal. Normally they're like hour 30.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, they usually target closer to an hour 30, and we're getting a little. I mean, it's definitely pretty cold out here. I can tell you guys from sitting up here. It's definitely getting chilly. So we'll see how these guys deal with the rain and the cold coming up into this second lap, but they should be coming down the descent into the finish any second here. So yeah, they're right.
Looks like we've got even bigger gaps here.
Wow.
And that's Landon Stovall and Robbie Day coming through that corner right now.
Right
it's on your screen.
Austin Beard there. And is that a Donovan Racing rider here? Is that Kai Loki, do you think?
It might be Kai. I don't know.
That could be Kai Loki. Good riding from Kai, though. Super strong. And big breakaway here. The group is looking pretty shattered. So they're just dropping into this dual slalom section now. This section's super fast, and with the rain, I think it could get a little bit slick, but again, it's that silty dirt, so I think it should be no problem for these guys. But here we have our leader just now coming into the finish, and he's got a solid gap. This is looking like maybe 10-15 seconds at least here to second place.
This is quite a push for a 5-lap race to get going that early, but maybe he's just got the legs for it and really wants to make this quite a digger early on.
So that was Logan Sadesky in our lead here. Sorry about the ID on that rider, but Logan Sadesky taking a commanding lead on this race right now. He's got a solid gap over Caleb Schwartz in second place, and then we can see this this group of about 5 riders coming through here for riding for third right now. But I mean, this is a super long climb, so pacing yourself is really important on a course like this. So we'll see if anyone went out too hard or blows up. Like this climb is, I mean, probably one of the longest that we have in any of the U.S. Cup races, so if not the longest.
It looks like that Donovan rider that we saw earlier was Kai Loki as he came through that corner. So our top 7 so far, that main group that was off there, was Logan Sadesky, Caleb Schwartz, Landon Stovall, Robbie Day, Austin Beard, Tobias Steinhardt, and Kai Loki. This is quite a deep field on the front here, and these guys are definitely going to be pushing this next climb super hard as well, just like they did on the first lap. So this is going to be quite an interesting race. Could be any of these boys' day out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that first lap is really important. I mean, the positioning really matters in the first lap, but on that second lap, I think it really cements your position. I mean, I think the gaps are still small enough in that second lap where you can move up, or if you went out too hard, you can even already start fading. So especially on such a long climb like this. And now we're just seeing some of the back of our field. Now back to the climb. Okay, so that's Austin Beard and Robbie Day. We can see Logan Sadesky rounding this right-hander coming up the climb off the front still.
Looks like we still got a similar gap. I think Robbie Day might be closing that up a little bit, but it was good 15 seconds when they were going through. I think it's probably about 7 as of right now.
Yeah, it looks like Robbie Day has overtaken Caleb Schwartz for second place right now. So, and now it's looking like any minute our U23 men should be rolling through. Is that yep, no, at the top slalom, we got some U23 men rolling through.
Oh yeah, Toby just hit the triple going through the dual slalom as they're rolling down through here, and looks like they're gonna catch some of the elite riders already.
So back to the climb though, we got Logan Sadesky still off the front, and it looks like the gap is not coming down to Robbie Day in second here. So here are our U23s rolling through though. We should get some footage of this in a minute here, but Ralito Gutierrez, Landon Dendy, and Toby Hassett, as well as Justin Peck. That's our front 4 riders, all pretty much still together. A little bit strung out, but all together still. And then in our elite men, still Logan Sadesky off the front. So it's looking, it's a very impressive, very confident ride from Logan to just take the race by the balls and go off of the front like that first lap. That's super impressive, and I think it shows the form that he's in. And yeah, now we're seeing Robbie Day just about around 10 seconds behind Logan. So I would say that this gap is definitely still closable for Robbie.
Logan is still moving. He looks like he's cruising through those corners a little bit faster, and I think he's just pushing it as hard as he can just to make that gap stay, because I mean, he knows he's strong, and he knows that he can make this gap stay, and he just wants to get out there and do it.
Yeah, Ollie, do you think it's possible that Logan hit that first lap too hard and that he'll pay for it in the end of the race, or do you think that he's still got gas in the tank here?
I think it's way too early to tell, especially on a race for these guys, but it's good to note what we were saying earlier, how this is going to be a little bit shorter than they normally ride, and so catching people off guard by going that early could make a difference, just because they're not actually doing that last 15 minutes that they would normally do, and so he might have enough in the tank to go from the get-go and just make it happen. But it is too early to see, like I said, and we're gonna see as this race plays out if this gap closes or if he can make this stay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks like the gap might have gone down a bit here, so it looks like maybe it's down to around 5 seconds here. Logan to Rob. And I mean, we know that Robbie Day is a excellent climber. So I think that he'll get back to Logan's wheel here by the end of this climb. But I mean, we'll see who has more energy after that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's looking pretty close. It's looking pretty close. Like the gap has gone down
I think
for
Rob is going to close this, but if you can see, Rob is really opening that gap up to third. So it might be a race of just these two if they can keep the legs together and make sure they don't blow up too early. But
yeah,
it looks like it might only be two-man's race because if you look here, we now got another, I don't know, 15-second gap to third from Robbie, and Robbie's closing on Logan Sadesky.
Yeah. No, it looks like that's Caleb Schwartz still in third there, but big gap from Logan back to Caleb. But this gap to from Logan to Rob is just hanging about five-ish seconds here. So we'll see if Rob is able to close this coming into the single track section here, which is it's looking pretty slick. So I mean we know that Logan has excellent technical skills, and I mean Rob also has good technical skills, but I think that Logan is probably more accustomed to these wet conditions. And I mean, I think that can definitely make a difference through this single track.
We saw him open up that gap as they were rolling through on that first lap. I think a good chunk of the gap that Logan opened up was on that downhill because they were all super close together at the top.
The group was definitely still pretty much together at the top of the climb, but I think it did really open up on the downhill, which I think, I mean, on this course, if Logan is automatically pulling, 10-ish seconds every lap on the downhill, it's going to be really hard for anyone else to beat him, especially if he's riding this strong on the climb. So,
well, that's such a game changer if you can make up that time on the downhill, because then you don't, you can take it so much easier on the climb, which means that your next downhill is going to be even faster because you're coming into it just a little bit more recovered and a little bit more ready to rail all the corners and just keep it rolling.
For sure. Yeah, no, it looks like this gap is already going back out, that Logan is pulling some time through this short descent in the middle of the climb here in some of these tight switchbacks. So it looks like maybe this has gone out to almost another at least 10 seconds in just a few corners here. So it looks like Logan is really taking it to Rob technically here.
Yeah, and I think it's a struggle for Rob because he's not right on Logan's wheel, and you can't just follow exactly what he's doing. And maybe we don't know how slippery it is out there, but like we were saying earlier, it looks like the dirt's got a little bit of a shine to it. So
for sure,
it might be getting a little bit slick. And
yeah,
I don't know if Rob, I'm like you said, Logan's a little bit more comfortable in that wet, and it's showing right now as he's rolling through this climb.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the rain is still coming down out here, so it looks like it's not getting any drier. I think it's only going to get more wet, more technical through these sections, and it looks like that's very favorable to Logan right now. So it's looks like it's his race right now, and I mean we'll see the gap here coming around this turn. I mean, yeah, it looks like the gap has gone out a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as much as it was at the bottom of the climb last lap. And this little section right here was where Rob, that group strung back together. So I'm betting you Rob is going to catch right back onto that wheel, but maybe at the expense of being just a little bit more tired as they roll into that downhill and that gap maybe opening up again there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just counted the gap at about 10 seconds. So, I mean, that's a hard gap to close, but I think it's still doable for Rob to get back to Logan's wheel. I mean, it looks like the gap might be going out more. I mean, the top of this climb, it does flatten out a little bit, so it could just be that they're going faster and the gap is the same amount of time, but it's looking like, this gap is not getting any smaller to Logan. So it looks like Logan is best on the descents here and also probably the best on the climbs so far. I mean,
I think he's just matching the climbs and just absolutely getting way ahead on those descents.
Yeah, that's
which
what it's
will make
like
up just for a general lead on all the climbs if he can just stay at the same pace, which is will tire out the riders behind him because they're fighting to catch him and they just can't.
Yeah, and we saw Logan take the win last weekend in Canmore at the Canada Cup there, C1. So that was a super impressive ride from him in Canmore, but a lot different style of a course than this. So it's impressive to see him riding so well on two courses that are so different. In Canmore, it's really a bit of shorter, punchier climbs. I would say the longest climb there is probably 2 minutes, and very technical, very steep downhills. So Logan is actually from close to Canmore, so he's accustomed to the technical steep riding that we kind of have some of here. There's definitely some steeper sections here, so I'm sure that's benefiting him. And we're looking at Rob right now rolling up this climb, and he's looking strong for sure, but it's still a solid gap here. I believe, is that Toby? Is that Toby in our U23 race? No, that's Rob. That is Rob.
Yeah, that is Rob.
So Robbie Day still sitting second wheel here, and yeah, Logan is, it looks like out of sight here in front of Rob. So the gap looks like the gap is going out here to Logan.
Yeah, that is definitely moving out a little bit. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because they've just gotten onto a downhill, and so the gap, it'll open up a little bit, but time-wise, it definitely is still opening up as they start this downhill right now.
So we're back into the main descent now, and look at that turn right there. Look at Logan. Wow, that was he was absolutely ripping through there around that left-hand switchback. He does look super comfortable, super calm, and he's absolutely, you can tell the speed difference around these loose switchbacks, which are super difficult to ride well and fast, especially when you have the fatigue from that long climb in your legs. So
yeah, and I think like we said before, he's just going to get better and better on that downhill as the riders behind him or better than the riders behind him as they're chasing on the uphill and getting more and more tired, while he can just ride his own pace on the front here.
Definitely, yeah, no, definitely. And it looks like, yeah, we can see Robbie Day in our picture now, and yeah, it's looking like the gap is pretty big for sure. So
I would think, like we were talking about earlier, this might have been the exact right move for Logan to make this happen this early, just because he's better on the downhills and can just get this gap to open up just a little bit more every lap.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's I mean, like usually most people don't want to attack so early on, especially in a course that's this hard and you can really blow yourself up on. But I mean, like you're saying, Ollie, I think it was the right move for him. Like, it's very impressive that he was able to recognize so early on that he was able to pull time in those descents and was still able to ride really strong on the climbs. So yeah, super impressive riding from Logan.
And I think that just shows that he knows his strengths and knows what he's going to get a gap farther out on, and is just going to be able to make it happen for what he needs to.
So we got a visual now on our riders coming into closer to the finish now. So yeah, visibly, just Logan's looking great on the bike right now. Super impressive. He's rolling up to it looks like towards our dual slalom section. He is just coming out of the woods here, absolutely attacking the trail. He looks super comfortable, super calm, throwing down the power, keeping the speed super high here. And we can see Rob a little bit higher up on the descent, and that gap has definitely grown through the downhill.
For Logan, his consistency through here is just so key for his race, just to make sure he can hold that gap exactly where it is. Because if he can hold it on everything, he's inevitably going to open it up on the descents like he has been on these last 2 laps.
Yeah, no, you can see Rob just coming through here now, and he definitely just doesn't look quite as comfortable as Logan. I mean, he's out of the saddle, he's thrown it down, and it looks like he's suffering right now, but still super strong riding from Rob here. And now we got our 3rd place rider. We got a visual on. That's Austin Beard, who is overtaking Caleb Schwartz. Caleb Schwartz just behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Caleb's fighting hard to get back on there, though.
Fighting super hard to get back on Austin Beard's wheel. Austin is a lot taller and lankier of a rider, but he's got some great power, and he can still climb incredibly well for his height, opposed to Caleb, who is also a great climber, but a lot shorter and a different type of build. So it's interesting to see these riders both climbing so well. And it looks like Austin is really pulling a little bit of time here on the descent. So
All right, Ben, do we think that Logan was able to pull a negative split right before we look at these times, right, as they're coming through?
I don't think so. I think that their first lap will be the fastest. Refresh. Oh,
looks
wow.
like we do have a negative split.
That's super impressive. Negative split for Logan Sadecki, first to second lap. First lap 15:03, second lap 14:55, and that is I think so far our fastest lap of the day, 14:55. And wow, super fast lap from Robbie there. Second lap 15:02. So it looks like Rob is riding really well here. But through the finish, the gap to Robbie was 27 seconds. So that is
looks like we
gone
can see
out
Landon
for
Stovall
sure.
at the top here, right, just coming into the dual slalom. Looks like he's
Yeah,
dropped back,
That is
back just a
Landon
little
Stovall coming into our dual slalom. You can see he's got on a little elbow pad right now to make sure he doesn't re-break his elbow here. Just keep it safe. But it's great to still see him in the top 5 here after his injury earlier this year. I mean, this is one of his first races back still, so he's still riding super strong, and it's great to see him out here.
Oof. Looks like Landon Sadecki, when they came through the finish line, had Logan Sadecki, that's my bad, had about a 27-second gap.
Yep, 27 seconds back to Robbie. So that is a fat gap, you could say. You could say that is a big gap. Oh,
Landon just pulled out. Looks like we might.
Landon Stovall out of the race here. Oh man, that you hate to see that. This cannot be good. Shoot. We're hoping that Landon hasn't had a crash or anything, but it's yeah, Landon Stovall is pulled out of the race.
Landon unsweak, so I'm wondering if that may have caused his pullout.
Yeah, he did have a crash in pre-ride. So I know that he was having a little bit of issues with his hip after that crash in pre-ride. So we're hoping that he's feeling all right here.
Okay, looks like still commanding lead from Logan Sadecki as they go up this climb again and just pushing it hard.
I mean, what are you going to say about that? That's really out there.
30-second gap on lap 2 of the elite race is quite impressive, and he just does not seem to be slowing down at all.
Definitely. We can imagine that they'll be feeling maybe a little bit more fatigue coming into that third lap. So I think we'll have a slower lap for that third lap for sure. Maybe some of these guys trying to recover a little bit from a hot start.
And once we're able to get a visual on Robbie coming through here, I think we'll be able to tell just a little bit on how he's feeling. You can tell by body language and stuff like that just how these riders are feeling, if they're just really tired. But if you look at Logan right now, he looks smooth and he looks calm and collected as he's rolling up this climb, which is super important to see.
It looks like he's out for a recovery ride right now. And momentarily we should be getting a look at our U23 leaders coming through. Looks like Toby Hassett in the lead, Justin Peck on his wheel, and then Ralito Gutierrez right behind him. Landon Dendy, Adam Moat, and we got 2 other riders. So massive group for the U23s here, which is it's interesting to see because, I mean, with such a selective course, Ollie, I mean, you'd imagine that this would, after 2 laps, probably be a little bit more split up than 2 riders.
Oh, never mind. Looks like Toby was in second. We have Miles McKelkey, who is leading out just by like a good 2 seconds. Wait, no, never mind. It looks like Miles McKelkey on our computer is 2 minutes ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry for the
correct.
technical difficulties here.
Watch out, touch screen.
This is saying currently that Miles McKelkey did a 14:05 lap, and we don't know if that's correct. But if so, that would be insane. That's almost a minute faster than Logan's fastest lap so far. So maybe we're having some technical issues here. What do you think, Ollie?
I'm not quite sure, but let me reload the page real quick.
So back to our elite men here. Yeah, we can still see Logan Sadesky off the front, and he's looking back down the switchback to see if anyone's there. And there's Rob just down the switchback. So I'm sure that'll inspire some confidence in him to look down and see Robbie that far back. So that's always a good feeling when you're in the lead and you can look back and really feel the room behind you.
Well, if you look when we'll see them come up through those switchbacks closer to the top, there's space to see ahead of you and behind you for both riders. And as in earlier races, if you can open that gap to the point where you can't see the rider in front or behind you, it's quite a bit of mind games there where it's a lot harder to catch when you just can't even see who you're chasing.
For sure. I mean, people say out of sight, out of mind, which is, that's definitely how it goes sometimes. I think if Rob is not able to see Logan anymore, that gap might just go out, over a minute by the end of this race if we can assume that Logan puts down a smooth race. So I think it'll be difficult for anyone to close this gap at this point. He's got over a 30-second lead, and he's looking really strong.
Well,
so.
This whole field has blown up super fast. Off of our top 6 right now, from 6th to 7th is a whole minute gap. And so it has just really been stretched out here. And that top 7, or now 6, after Landon pulled out, it's been narrowed down quite a bit here.
Yeah, and we got sitting in 5th place in our elites right now, we got Tobias Steinhardt out of Albstadt, which is super interesting. This German rider, it looks like he's made the trip out to the U.S. to do some racing here. So yeah, sitting 5th right now, and still a solid gap though, almost a minute from Tobias to Logan. So this shows how hard Logan is pushing it right now.
Yeah, and looks like as they're going through that single track section where on first lap we saw a couple bobbles coming up through these corners, he's still looking nice and strong and consistent as he rolls up there. You just saw as he rolled over that root, there was a little bit of his back wheel just spun one time around, but he's still looking good. He knows that's happening. He knows what's loose, and he's just still holding on smooth.
Yeah, no, he is just coming out of this small single track section back onto the road for this top, 1.5, 2 minute section, last part of the climb here, before they drop into the big downhill. And yeah, still looking super composed, super relaxed, and really strong on the bike.
Well, if you see after this rain, they're all choosing this kind of right/middle line. You can see how all the dirt's being patted down just a little bit, just so they can get the smoothest line possible and just keep rolling.
Sorry, anyone, for some technical difficulties there. But yeah, we can see Logan still in this climb, smashing it, and yeah, it looks like the sun is really coming out now. So the rain's past. It's looked like, at least for now, and we got blue skies for at least a little bit here, which I'm sure will be nice. And this ground really dries up fast, so it looks like any of that moisture, any of that slickness in that single track that we had before will be gone on this lap. So.
Yeah, it looks like it's drying out real quick, and the clouds around here, we got a nice little open spot like Ben was saying, and hopefully that holds out for these guys. But a little more rain might just pack down the dirt more, because like you said, it's already absorbing quite quickly, and these guys aren't having that many issues anymore, and it looks pretty smooth.
Yeah, so here's Logan just coming through over the top of the climb into the big single track descent, and gap still looks just as big, if not bigger. So really strong riding from Logan. What can you even say?
We haven't even seen Robbie in a little bit on the camera, and Logan is just holding this gap right where he's had it, and I guarantee it's going to open up just again on the downhill like he has every lap.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's been making up the last 2 laps. He made up at least 15 seconds on the downhill.
Yeah, like Oliver said, the riding in Canmore gives him the advantage of the steep technical, and yeah, he's definitely making up time in that placer's strength really well.
Yeah, this downhill is not actually that technical, and but there is definitely still places where you can gain on people if you're just super smooth through those corners, and I think Logan just has all those corners here dialed, and is just showing us that as he leads strong here.
So maybe we'll get a look at our U23 race here because I mean,
Rob. There's Rob.
yeah, there's Robbie Day actually. So second place, just coming over the top of the climb into the big descent. Robbie Day, looking strong still, but yeah, that gap's definitely gone out. Ollie, what do you think? What do you think that the time will be back to Rob coming through this next lap here?
I'm
thinking
betting
at
it's
least
going to be
40,
like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a minute depending on how hard they're pushing on this
man.
climb. Yeah,
Look
it's just
at that.
smooth
That is
through
just
those corners.
A master class. Logan through those corners, absolutely railing those berms there. And it's looking like the dirt is in perfect condition there as well. So
So look, you can see the gap here as they're rolling through. There's the lead, and you'll see Rob will come. Yeah, Rob's about to
we'll
come
see
through the
Robbie
corner at
Day
the top. So he's about
coming through in just a
2
second
switchbacks
here.
behind, or
Yeah.
3 switchbacks behind Logan at this point.
Yeah. 3 switchbacks above Logan.
So I
At least.
I
So
don't
yeah,
think
you
it's
can
45
see
seconds
even in
as
the
of now.
picture.
I think it's not quite yet 45 seconds, but by the bottom, I bet Logan will have it at 45.
For sure. For sure. I think that this gap will definitely go out. So yeah, super smooth through all these corners for Logan. Just look at how he's carrying his momentum, carrying his speed through and through these tight switchbacks. And yeah, no, coming into the woods here, there's definitely a few looser turns and more technical switchbacks, which I think is where he's making up the most time here. So we should be seeing him coming through our finish in probably a minute or two here.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's just carrying a bit more speed through all those corners and just keeping his pace up the entire downhill instead of having to hit the brakes a bunch and slow it up.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's looking super smooth through all these corners. And I mean, it's interesting also because I mean, seeing him off the front pretty much this entire race, it's a lot different style of an effort than, you know, KG group racing. Even I mean, if you're looking at those U23s in that group of almost 8, that's a lot different of a style of racing because you'll have guys throw an attack or, you know, something like that even on a course with this big of a climb.
And look at that open space as he is just alone off the front here, rolling into the dual slalom.
Coming up the last short punch before the dual slalom here. And yeah, Robbie is not in sight here. Not in sight yet, so it's looking like a big gap. Looking like he can stop to take a breath if he wanted to.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like as long as he keeps it composed for the rest of the race, he's got this. He's just got to make sure he stays with it the rest of this time. Robbie is fighting
there's
hard.
Robbie Day. Last punch up to the dual slalom there.
You can see
and
them crossing at the same time on the opposite sides.
Coming down up to the finish with 2 laps to go. But like I was saying, this is really a TT style effort for Logan. So, I mean, maybe he knows that he's better with that style of racing where he can just focus on his own effort, focus on his own pace, whereas some other people might like to have others to, you know, really push them and duke it out with. So, just coming out of the trees now, that's Caleb Schwartz and Austin Beard. That's our 3rd and 4th place riders in our elite men.
Wow, looks like these laps are just rolling in almost identical for Logan.
Oh,
He's rolled in with a 15:03, which is identical to his first lap. So a bit slower than last time, but just super consistent.
I mean, 8 seconds slower, it's nothing at this point. I mean, we'll have we should have Rob's time in a second here as well. Just rolling through, 3 to go. Wow, is that okay? Wait, we're just waiting for Rob's lap time here. But in the meantime, Caleb Schwartz, Austin Beard rolling it through the dual slalom.
Wow, looks like Rob
super
did a
good.
15:15, so
15:15, okay.
only 12 seconds slower than Logan's lap.
And we got about 39 second lead, okay, for Logan Sadesky here. So that's a few more seconds than last time. But rolling through the finish now, 2 laps to go. That's Caleb Schwartz and Austin Beard. So looks like Austin's about double the size of Caleb, but still going up the climbs just as fast. And that's Tobias Steinhardt now, just 20-ish seconds behind them. So I'm sure he's trying to make a bridge up to these guys here, but it's looking like that's a pretty solid gap. And there's Kai Loki. Wow, right behind Tobias in 6th place. That's an incredible ride for Kai so far. First year U23, mixing it up in the elites here.
I think
that's impressive.
He's a little boy, and he's just making it work on those climbs and just holding it. And yeah, he's been fighting hard to keep this spot, and this is a huge race for him at this point.
Yeah, for sure. This definitely is a suiting course for Kai. He's an excellent climber, as we know. So he's clearly making good work of this course so far.
Yeah, it looks like all of our riders in this top 6 have been rolling through. Our slowest lap so far is a 15:40 or 15:49 in this group. So they're all sub 16 on all of these laps. Do you think that's going to keep going through all of them, or do you think that they will slow up just a little bit towards the end?
I mean, I think for our leaders, at least our probably top 3, 4 guys here, I think that they'll definitely keep the consistency, at least between Logan and Robbie. But maybe after that, we'll see some of these guys really pay the price for, a hard first and second lap here at the end of the race. So,
well, I think you see that a lot with people breaking away off the front in these the 6-person group that we have here. They're so far off the front that they're all working so much harder than these guys that are just riding their own pace towards the back of the race, and it's just a bigger push for them just to make sure they're staying in that group. And sometimes that can pay off, but sometimes you'll really pay the price for it.
Yeah, I mean, the average speed of these guys it's under 13 miles an hour. It's around 12, 13 miles an hour here. So it's really not like you're getting too much draft on these climbs. I mean, I would say they're riding most of the time between 10 to 15 miles an hour. So there's definitely some sections where you're getting a little bit of draft, but I wouldn't say it plays a massive role here on a course like this. I mean, because this climb, it probably averages close to a 10% gradient.
Yeah,
so
but just that little
steep.
bit at the very top is quite a bit flatter than the rest of it. And like you said earlier, that's where you can really get a draft. But for the first little bit of the climb, it's not really. It's more of a mental game.
For sure. It definitely has a big impact on you mentally, how you're pacing your own race. I mean, being alone, it's hard sometimes to know if you're really pacing yourself correctly. So here we got, coming through in a minute here, should be our U23 leaders.
Looks like Miles McCalkey has already come through, and he has.
Miles McCalkey.
He went real hard on that first lap, but his next 2 are sitting like 16:24 and 16:37, so slowed up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Still doubtful on this 14:05 lap. Quite impressive, a whole minute faster than the elite guys.
So now we're seeing Toby Hassett, Justin Peck rolling through. It's saying for us 2nd and 3rd place here, so Toby Hassett, Justin Peck rolling it through here, looking both super good. Toby's looking calm, collected, and as well as Justin. Justin's taking on the pace there, so both these guys about to duke it out for sure. And we got some stragglers in our elite field here. Brady White rolling it through. Nice work, Brady. And is that Paul Vronenvelder, Luke Vronenvelder's younger brother, rolling it through here. And now we got Raulito Gutierrez coming down our dual slalom section. So it looks like he's fallen back quite a bit.
Looks like Toby Hassett and Justin Peck both just did some 15:30 laps, so they are speeding it up quite a little bit for this.
Solid
that
pace
is,
for these
yeah,
guys
they're
for
really
sure.
rolling it through here.
And so for Raulito, he's fallen back quite a bit now, at least a solid 30-second gap to Toby Hassett and Justin Peck. So it doesn't look like he's had a crash or anything, but maybe these guys are just ramping up the pace and he wasn't able to hang on. So.
Well, I think, like you said earlier, like when we have these groups up there, and I was also talking about this, where the group racing, you can really pay the price, or you can really do super well.
For sure. Different people with different physiology definitely can benefit from the different styles of racing, like we were saying earlier. Like we're seeing again Logan here, just totally TT style off the front. He's pretty much on an hour 10-minute time trial here. So yeah, he's still looking really good, really composed, and I mean he looks comfortable, to be honest. We got now coming through still some more U23s rolling it through. Looks like Gabe Harrelson from Weight Endurance rolling it through there.
He's about to come through the finish line right now.
Recovering from a nasty saddle sore, so it's good to see good to see him out there riding strong. Now we got a few more U23s rolling it through here. So I believe that these riders here were with our front group for a little bit.
Yeah, they were. They definitely were
in
in the first lap. They were falling off a little bit.
Like,
second lap,
just an
this
example
lap.
of how on such a long climb like this, especially with a little bit of elevation in the mix, you can really blow yourself up by going out too hard. So it makes it even more impressive that Logan was able to go out hard and just ride so consistently and so smooth, and just make this race his own.
Oh, look at that! Is that?
So I think we're getting visual now. Is that looks like Logan, and it looks like maybe Robbie Day is started to catch up to him.
Not quite sure yet, though.
Yeah,
we don't have a close-up on it, but this might be.
We're not quite sure based off the shot, but it looks like this could be Robbie Day starting to catch up to Logan. So this could make for a super interesting race. Oh no, sorry. We had it mixed up here. Logan is just coming back onto the road, and we believe that Robbie is farther back, still in that single track. So it looks like still that lead is holding out.
Yeah, but
probably
we might
extending.
have a little switch up in the placements going through as those two riders that we saw just a second ago.
For sure. Do you think
pushing
that could
super
be
hard.
Austin and Robbie there, or do you think that was someone else?
That could be Tobias and Kai Loki. Looked like one of them could have been a Donovan kit.
Could be. Yeah, but again, incredible riding from Kai as a first year under 23 in the elite race here. So really impressive from Kai. I mean, I'm sure that he's absolutely stoked right now to be at the front end of this race. So racing for a top 5, it's pretty sick as a first year U23 for sure.
Yeah, especially pushing these elites. I mean, when you get in that field and you can just hold on to all these elite men that have been riding for so much longer than you have in this field, it's super impressive on his end. And even if this course is advantageous for him, I mean, these guys have ridden for so much longer, are quite a bit more experienced than him, and it's super impressive for him to just get out there and fight for it and take that spot.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really cool to see guys making having a breakout ride first year in the U23s, like coming out of the juniors. It can definitely be tough to step it up to that next level, to be competitive with often racing against elites and much older guys. So it's a big step for Kai, and really cool to see. So it looks like rolling through here, we got Logan just
Yeah,
coming
once
around
again,
this
Logan
left-hander.
on the front. He has
Yeah.
just made this race his
Smashing it.
own, and he is just going to keep doing that. I think he honestly might start catching some of these U23 riders or
Yeah,
at the
for
back of
sure,
the elite
for
field
sure.
quite rapidly.
Yeah, we still got loads of people coming through the finish here. Going back out for more laps here, and Logan is about to come around back down the descent for his 4th lap. So we should be seeing. Here's Logan now. Just
Yeah, here
in the
he
top of
is,
the
just
descent,
rolling
so.
over that top bit, and he's going to be coming down the descent. Like we saw earlier, this has been his strong point, and I don't know, maybe he can open up another 15 seconds. It's been consistently, 15-second gap opening up every lap. So
sure you can,
I'm
yeah.
thinking we might get a minute gap at the bottom here.
Yeah, no, it's been insane how much time he's been pulling on this descent here. So really cool to see. Really cool to see. Someone really taking charge of the descent here, which you don't see every day.
No, a lot of times you have like 1 or 2 riders. Like in your race today, Ben, it was just River and Ethan Wood that were off the front there.
Yeah.
And they stayed together until that very last lap. But here we're just seeing Logan just wanting to push it himself. River, what do you have to say about your race today?
Able to push the pace on the first lap, but couldn't quite hang on with Ethan all the way to the finish. He had a really strong last lap climb, and I just kind of fell off. But yeah, I think like Oliver said, it's really interesting to see. Like, I was expecting more of a race similar to this, with it getting really blown apart. But I mean, the U23s they're in time. At least the top riders are. So yeah, it is really interesting to see how every race plays out with such a selective course.
Yeah, well, if you look here, we can just now see this huge gap from Logan, who's right here, to Rob, who is now probably a good 5 switchbacks back, lost 2 switchbacks from the last lap. And I'm betting, yeah, we are going to be around a minute gap as they come through the start-finish here.
So yeah, we're getting a view now on this bottom section of. You can see these super tight switchbacks here. Dirt is looking super nice, mint out here, and yeah, there's Logan just riding into the very bottom section of the descent there. It looks like, so he should be coming out any minute here.
It looks
Up
like they're
towards our
pulling
dual
these
slalom,
riders
so.
from the U23 field,
Yep.
just get them out of the way a little bit, so
Yeah, we got
Logan
a
can get
ton
through
of
on his
U23 riders coming through here still. And
tear of a
yep,
race.
There's Logan out of the woods onto this last little single track kick up before the dual slalom. So just look how relaxed he looks. That's so impressive, Ollie. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's going hard out there.
Well, you can see his back is quite straight, and he's sitting up, just making sure that he is in that position that he wants to be in. He knows he has taken control of this race, and he wants to just make sure he stays up there. Look at that. He's got his arms pretty straight rolling through the downhill. He is so comfortable, and he knows this is his race, and he knows he's got to hold on and make it happen.
Yep, no, looking super good through those berms there. A little bit of steez over that little double, and looking super composed, super relaxed still. Let's see, he's just pushing it out a little bit wide into the grass, and just look at his cadence. Super comfortable, takes a bottle. He looks super composed rolling into this 4th lap.
Oh, yeah,
here.
it looks like
So 2 to
Rob
go.
coming through the top now.
And, yeah,
and
we can see Robbie Day.
Yeah,
now
it looks like
climbing
we're
up
going to be.
towards our dual slalom.
Yeah,
And that will be 2 to go for Logan, just coming through the finish. So
No,
here's
1 to
Rob.
go.
1 to go?
wait, no.
No, they got 2
Yeah,
to go.
2 to go.
Yep, 2 to go. 2 to go for these guys. So here's Rob rolling it down the dual slalom. And I mean, you can see the differences in
Wow.
riding style between these guys. Just Rob doesn't look quite as comfortable, not quite as flowy as Logan through these doubles.
I
through
think
these
he
berms.
looks comfortable, but he
So-
just isn't quite as relaxed. Looks like Logan has rolled through with another lap that is just within the same 10-second window. He's got a 15:02 lap
Oh,
time.
and it looks like we got a shakeup for our third place ride. That's Caleb Schwartz, who has broken away from Austin Beard for third place. Looks like not a massive gap yet, but still around probably 10 seconds, it looks like. And I mean, I think we could assume that Caleb probably pulled that gap on the climb on Austin. And like we were saying earlier, I mean, these climbs, you know, hometown hero, we know that these climbs suit Caleb super well, so he's definitely ripping. And still though, a solid gap back to from Robbie to Caleb. Just rolling through the bottom of the dual slalom and takes a bottle and heading through the finish into his fourth lap. So, and here's Austin. Here's Austin rolling it through in fourth.
Yeah, wow, he is
Still looking strong, but
we'll see if he can catch back on to Caleb, but I think that's too big of a gap to close at this point.
I think
He's
it's
just
unlikely.
fought so hard.
I mean, I think that gap is that the elastic is already snapped there. So it looks like Caleb is riding away from Austin, and I mean, if you think, you know, do you think it's possible that that Robbie overextended himself to try to catch Logan in the beginning of the race, so that maybe Caleb will have a chance to
Well, no,
to catch
I
up
think
to him?
since we're seeing this gap just gradually move out just a little bit, all of every single one of these laps, it's super important to notice that Rob is still kind of riding his own race. He's running about the same lap times all of his laps.
For sure.
So he's not really. I mean, Logan is just on it on all these laps. They're all almost identical, but
Yeah.
Rob is also quite close in all of his lap times, which means he's just
sure.
rolling through well. Looks like we have Kai Loki
sure.
has just gone through the finish line. He is not that far
Yep.
back.
No, there's Kai Loki. Definitely not too far back. So still in the fight here for Kai. And like we were saying, super impressive riding from him. So really cool to see.
We can really feel the wind picking up here. I'm wondering how that's going to change the racing tactics. It seems like the climb is really covered, but once you get to that straightaway up top where it's a little bit flatter, it's definitely more in the open. And like Ben was saying with the tactics, like if you're with another rider, it's definitely easier to hang on the wheel in the draft, but it is still really steep, so if you don't have the legs, you're never going to hang on either. But I mean, this last dual slalom section does have a couple hits, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the riders take the risk and maybe save a second or two down it, or keep the tires on the ground with the wind.
Okay, it looks like our gaps have come through right now. Looks like
We've got updated lap times.
Yeah, it looks like we have 58-second gap from Logan to Robbie Day, and
Holy.
Robbie has a good 40 seconds on Caleb Schwartz.
Yeah,
Like you
huge
were
gaps.
talking about him overextending himself. I think that's an almost impossible gap to close in these last
For
like
sure.
2 laps. But
Yeah, 40 seconds is certainly a pretty big gap for Caleb to close down to Robbie. So it's definitely a hard race for all these guys just being alone here, just doing their own pace and own thing. But it's definitely interesting to see, like we were saying, I mean, these guys are riding all of their own races out here. So. And there's some U23 riders rolling through. It looks like we got Toby Hassett and Justin Peck just rolling into the
yeah,
top.
they were
of
working
the,
together earlier, so I think
Yeah.
that they're trying to make that still happen.
Yeah, just rolling into the top of the dual slalom there. So.
Oh, it looks like there's a bit of a gap here between Toby and Justin, but Justin's closed it right now. They're just trying to stay together, keep it smooth and consistent as they come through this climb. Like we said, they're just kind of working together. They were pushing some real fast lap times on last lap, just making sure that they're probably trading poles maybe, or just taking turns for a whole lap. We'll see. I don't know.
got some more U23 riders. Looks like rolling through here through the dual slalom. Throwing a little bit of steez, why not? Oh yeah.
I want the camera in there. I want to see if any of these guys will hit that triple.
Yeah. No, it looks like Landon Dendy rolling it through right there. And we also got a few elite riders who have gotten passed by our U23s. I think that's Chuck Norris and Brady White right there, who started in our elite race but have gotten passed by our U23 field. So, yep, there's Landon Dendy rolling it through our finish line. 1 to go. So, good looks. And, yep, no, there's we got more U23 riders rolling it through.
Oh, here the camera is switched. Let's see where we can see these elite men who are going up this climb. Quite a hard fight, like we were saying. I mean, these guys might just start being at the point where one of them's overextending themselves, and it's just a little bit too much for them. And we'll see if that happens to any of these guys, but it looks like all these gaps have stayed relatively similar for this race.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big threshold course, so I mean, I would say, I mean, you can definitely blow up, but it's a different type of suffering than I'd say your average XCO course, you know, with these super long climbs here. Okay, so we actually had a mix-up here. These guys, I think, are on their last lap right now. It looks like their 5th and final lap they are rolling into here. So we got 5 laps for our elites, 5 laps for our U23s. So this is some more U23s rolling it through here.
Yeah, the wind is really picking up down here. Our monitor just about blew over here.
Yeah, guys, sorry for the technical issues. We're trying not to lose the monitor here, but that looks like Robbie Day, rolling it through the single track here, looking super strong still for Robbie. Yep, Robbie Day rolling it through there, and I mean, we can imagine Logan is rolling it through about a minute in front of Rob.
That's number 2.
So
You're on number. You're looking at second.
So yep, our second place rider Robbie Day, looking strong, and so he's about to come back out onto the road. Let's see if we can get a visual on our leader in a minute here. He I'm sure is hitting it hard up this last part.
That's Logan Sadesky as he's coming through that last little kind of false flat climb area as he's finishing off the climb on this last lap.
So Logan Sadesky rolling it through to the finish here. This is his last time of the climb, and I mean this is a relieving moment coming around this 180 turn here, because this is the end of the main part of the climb, and
yeah, like he still knows he's got a little bit to go, but this is it's a key moment in the race.
You're pretty much
just
cruising to the finish here.
Cruising in, and he knows he's got to keep it upright, rubber side down. I wouldn't want to crash here, and he's been looking strong on the descents all day, so I think he should be good.
I'm sure he has the maturity to take it a little bit easier last lap, and make sure he doesn't stack it and just take this one home. So perfectly executed race from Logan, and incredibly dominant, incredibly strong ride from him. So great to see.
Little bit of doubt from us when he went so early, but I mean he held on to it great, and he made this race his. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean we can see some of the mechanics starting to pack up their stuff here and head to the finish to get some recovery for the riders. And I mean, yeah, this is it. So we should see Logan coming through in a few minutes here into the finish. I'm sure he's got a big smile on his face
we've
rolling
got some
it down this
big
descent.
gaps in this field, so I don't think we're gonna have any sprint finishes or anything like that. But maybe in the U23 field we might get some sprints and
I know we
see
saw
some
Toby
interesting.
Hassett and Justin Peck together there off the front of the U23 race. So I mean, we'll see if that shakes out up the climb, or maybe we'll get an exciting sprint finish. So we should be seeing soon here. And oh no, is that Logan Sadesky running into some lapped traffic? Hopefully this guy will pull over for Logan, because I mean we know he's so fast on the descents. You know, I don't think anyone's gonna be matching him.
Yeah, it looks like we're a little caught up here.
Yeah, that's super annoying for Logan. That would be the fault of the officials, I would say, for not pulling that rider.
Oh, it looks like Logan has got past, and he is rolling way ahead. You can see that gap open up to the other rider immediately.
Just look at the skill level of
faster.
Logan. In about 10 seconds, he pulls 5 seconds
look at
through
him
these
flowing
corners.
through those corners.
That is something to watch right there, people. Take notes on this, because, wow, absolute masterclass.
To ride him, and he's just been keeping it smooth all day. Oh, it looks like he might be coming up onto another lapped rider.
Yeah, you hate to see it. But
He's
hopefully
got such
these
a gap,
guys
it doesn't
will.
matter that much.
Hopefully these guys will get over for him, let him through. So yeah.
Oh yeah, got over immediately. That was awesome from
super
that lapped
nice.
rider.
Yeah, super nice from that lapped rider, letting him go by. I mean, hopefully he'll get by these guys so he can hit a nice post up without anyone else in the view here. So
what do we think the post up's gonna be?
I don't know.
Anything interesting or just a little generic?
I mean,
hand up.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be anything crazy, to be honest, based on his Silly and Canmore. So.
Yeah, I think we need to go phone call here. That'd be awesome.
I mean, yeah, hanging up the phone, that would be cold.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
For
looks like another lap.
Yeah, there's Logan Sadesky out.
Hopefully get out of the way right away.
Final about minute of the race here. So yep, rolling it up to the dual slalom here, and behind another lap rider. That sucks for Logan. Trying to get by. Yep, there he goes through there.
Let's see what stees he throws through here as they come through
this
downhill.
He tosses
Hit the
up
triple.
some stees
Come on.
here.
Oh no, just double and roll. Hey, but like we said, he's got the maturity to make sure he doesn't just crash and ruin this nice race. So I think that's important.
Yeah,
and,
he definitely doesn't want to stack it
for the
in the
triple
last few
might not be
seconds
the
here,
most positive thing.
Yeah, but incredible race from Logan Sadesky.
Wow,
you
look
love
at
to
him
see
go.
it. Absolutely commanding win from Logan Sadesky.
All right,
So
let's
good.
check the post up.
Big smile on his face as he's rolling into the line here. Thumbs
thumbs
up!
up!
Thumbs up, that's
Woo!
all. He's too nonchalant. Takes the win with just the thumbs up. Doesn't even care. Doesn't even care. And now we're looking for Robbie Day. Should be rolling through here in a minute. But yeah, incredible race, Ollie, from Logan Sadesky there. Absolutely massive lead. Let's see if we can get a look at his lap time, his last lap here. Let's see. You think he'll do a negative split here, Ollie, for his last lap?
It looks like he was almost identical to all the other laps on that last lap because he came through at an hour and 3 seconds, and now looks like he is
hour 15 minutes
and 11 seconds for the final time, which means that he came through with a last lap of 15:08, which is just a little bit. It's his slowest lap, but only by about 5 seconds. So he's rolling pretty quick.
Still great consistency. And
all right, looks like we have
there's Rob rolling it through the top of the dual slalom. Huge gap, huh? Back to from Logan. Oh, tossing it over the double here.
All right, looks like Robbie Day just rolling through for second.
Here.
Strong finish.
So, yep, super strong ride from Rob. I'm sure he'll be happy with this one. I mean, he put up a good show, put up a good fight here first lap, but I mean, Logan was the best rider on the day. but still great ride from Rob. We love to see it. So let's see if Caleb Schwartz just rolling
looks
through
like Caleb Schwartz, he's
rolling
sending
through the dual
some-
slalom now for third place. Trying to throw a little bit of steez here. And,
Different line there than everyone else has been taking. He went
yeah.
inside to out
No,
instead of
he was,
outside to in.
He's hitting that left line there.
Yeah.
We didn't see him in.
I mean, he's a local, so it
so
has to be fast.
Has
Maybe
to
it's
be the
just what
best
is
line,
exactly
yeah.
what he wants to do. But
So hometown hero Caleb Schwartz, third place. Great ride from Caleb there. And he's been mostly mixing it up with, more of gravel lifetime
is that Kyle?
type of stuff here. So, and now it looks like fourth place. Maybe some issues for Austin Beard.
I think that might be Kai Loki
But,
coming in fifth as
Kyle
well.
Loki's hitting fifth. So
Is that
it's
is that a
saying-
podium for his first elite race?
First elite race, top 5 for Kyle Loki. That's incredible. Just rolling through the dual slalom now. There's Tobias Steinhardt coming across the line. Great ride from Tobias. And yeah, really something to be said about this ride from Kai because wow, first year U23.
Yeah, this is
place
super
in the
impressive.
elites. About to roll it across the line.
Dude, and he's looking smooth, and he's looking. He's got a smile.
for sure.
Oh,
So,
I think that's.
that is awesome.
Oh, it looks like that's
awesome to
Austin
see
Beard that's coming
from
through the
Kai,
top in
so.
for 6th place. He's gonna hit
Yeah.
that dual slalom pretty soon here.
So maybe Austin hit it a little bit too hard off the start here. I mean, it looks like he's struggling over the top of this last climb here. So
Look at all these boys down at the finish. They are all just congratulating each other and talking about how their ride went. And yeah, good day out there for all these guys, and it's been a strong ride.
yeah, no, super cool to see the camaraderie between these guys after the finish. I mean, they're definitely super physical, super competitive on the bike, and not giving each other an inch. But I mean, off the bike, everyone's great friends. So great to see these guys congratulating each other, giving each other hugs after the finish. And here's Austin Beard for 6th place. So I mean, 6th place rolling in several minutes after our leader just shows how difficult this course is. I mean, the gaps are just
Yeah, it looks like
insane.
our top 5 took on a split of about 3 minutes, spread throughout the entire top 5, which is quite huge for an elite race. I mean, it shows how much strong of a ride these guys had, and Logan Sadesky really putting it out there and making these guys hurt.
Yeah, no, you don't see that often in the elite men when there's gaps like this. So super commanding ride from Logan and Rob out there. I mean, really taking it to everyone else, and yeah, incredible ride from Logan. So
Super fast first lap, really kind of took a digger on that last one, and the 4th lap and ran a
Yeah.
17 minutes. So
yeah.
struggling a little bit, but looks like Toby's gonna roll through here.
So yeah, Toby Hassett rolling it through in our lead. He is gonna win a bike race, ladies and gentlemen. Bar hump, huge bar hump from Toby Hassett over the triple.
Oh,
the top of the
here
dual
we
slalom.
go, dude.
Big steez, maybe one of the biggest tricks we've seen all day. He's gonna be happy about this one. Toby just getting over a little back injury, which has had him off the bike for a few weeks. So great to see Toby taking the win in the U23 race. I mean, typically Toby would want to be, competing in the front of the elites, but there he goes. Little hand off the bars, little Selly. Big dub for Toby. So big man out of Golden, Colorado. Riding for the last 2 years with Bear national team, and yeah, great to see him take I think his first win in the Bear kit here for Bear.
Yeah, it's been a good ride from
sweet-
him today,
sweet one
and
for
all these
Toby.
guys. There's Justin Peck, who was riding with Toby for most of this
Yeah,
race,
I
and
believe
he's just
that's,
coming through now.
Second place for Justin Peck throws up a little number 2. So sweet ride from Justin, and yeah, great to see Toby getting over his back injury, and even with not his best form, being able to take the win in the U23s here.
Yeah, he's been putting on a big week this week, and he's just trying to, get out there, and looks like it's worked well for him, and he's just fought through this race and looks super strong out there today.
Yeah, for sure, definitely a guy to keep your eye on for the rest of this season. We got last few guys rolling in down the dual slalom here. Massive gaps, as you can see, between everyone. there. So
I think this race you can't really hide your fitness out there, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how these gaps
It's-
came out. It just was fighting super hard, and that's
Yeah.
how these guys made it happen today. It wasn't
sure.
a strategic race. It was just a throw the big guns out there and see what happens.
It's definitely survival of the fittest out there. So we got is this third possibly in the U23 race? We're not sure at this time, but that rider looks super stoked with his ride. So you'll have to see that. Love to see guys just, going out there throwing it down as hard as they can for an hour and a half, and
Having a good time doing
having a good time doing it for sure. So you'll have to see it. There's Brady White rolling down the bottom of our dual slalom. A few more riders. Could be Adam Moat rolling it through the top of that dual slalom there. Possibly Adam Moat. There's Landon Dendy rolling through the finish. Brady White finishing up our elite men's race. Nice job, Brady. Two Donovan riders. Looks like we got a little sprint action
let's
going
see this
on
sprint.
here.
They're gonna come.
This guy's leading it out. Adam Moat coming from behind. Two
Yeah,
Donovan
looks like they're
riders,
gonna take that
and, yep,
same positions that they came into that sprint, but
pretty hard to
good,
come
strong
around
fight.
someone in that tight finish.
yeah, it's only
for sure.
about a 5-10 second sprint, so it's pretty
yeah,
hard to get
you're
all the way
definitely
around.
not coming around someone in that short of a finish. Looks like Paul Brownenvelder finishing up a strong ride here. Maybe his brother is watching the live stream right now. Shout out to Luke. Shout out Luke.
Shout out
Brownenvelder,
Luke.
the GOAT. Nice work, Paul. Yeah, so unfortunately we're not getting a look at our lap times here, but really fast laps for our U23 guys. I mean, still about.
Oh, looks like we got
around a
Raulito
minute or
Gutierrez
30
who's rolling
seconds.
through the finish here in a second. He's
Yep.
gonna strong
Raulito
ride from him as
Gutierrez
well.
coming into the finish for our U23 guys. Strong ride from Raulito. Nice work.
Consistently, the inside was Caleb Schwartz.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting for Caleb.
yeah, it looks like no sprint here. That was quite
Yeah.
a lead through that downhill there. Just made use of those gaps to gain a little speed and just keep it up.
All right, so I think this is wrapping up the end of the field here. So thank you guys so much for having us. It's been a pleasure commentating with you guys today.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, Ben. It's been a good day, and
Yeah, thank you, Ollie. See you guys.
See ya. Bye.